What makes something beautiful? Why are there certain aspects of society that resonate with our soul?
Like I'm lucky I'm in the creative space because I think you get a little bit more leeway, I think, when you're a creative, and that actually adds to the ability to be able to do creative as well, because I'm basically a magpie for knowledge. So my brain will go a million miles an hour looking over here. Oh, that's a good model. It literally is like that.
What is it about art that makes it truly captivating and beautiful?
Everyone has emotions in their day, whether they're assholes or really kind or whatever that may be. But I think it's just about managing how that flows through the day. Like me, I'm a range of those emotions.
This is an exploration on creativity, about love, about compassion.
She's pragmatic too, and a journalist, and really, really understanding of how things aren't right, so they just got to get told to you straight. I was lucky because I'm quite an emotional person, so I was actually lucky. I had great mentors my whole career, and I'll just point out that most of them were wahine, women, and they were just amazing at being able to go
about the pursuit of creating something that captures the hearts and minds of the populace. Let's kick into it.
Cool. All right, we'll kick into it. So, I think any way to start a podcast, I kind of see it like a journey, and we have our two guides. And it's always good to encapsulate who our guides are and where they're going to take us. Well, we don't know where you're going to go, but how would you encapsulate what you guys do?
Firstly, kia ora, brother, for having us on. Ko waio, he uri tēnei a potatau te whero, rango mai wahine pūrorangi o kutupuna. Ko Raymond o tēnei McKay tōku ingoa. Kia ora everyone, I'm Raymond, Creative Director at Run, advertising and design agency based here in Tāmaki Makaurau. And after that short intro, I'll hand you over to Laura so she can roll out some kōrero too, so kia ora.
Kia ora, ko Laura Siblich, tōku ingoa, no Ingarangi, no Airani, no Tarara o Kutupuna, born and bred in Tāmaki Makaurau, and co-founded Run with Raymond about 15 years ago. Husband and wife too, partners in life and business. And so to answer your question a little bit, we run a design advertising agency.
It's sort of running us at the moment. It's becoming a very busy venture, but still fun and still learning, and like I said, just on a journey, and it's great.
I was that intro. Well, I don't know what it's called. Is that like the intro for the speech and stuff? All I know is the fucking Lord's Prayer from. I did that Māori at school, but I failed everything because everyone else in the class was Māori and it was based on averages. So I got 65% still failed. I was like,
really?
Wow, sad.
Yeah, I think. Well, that was a mihi just to sort of just to show you where I'm from, my ancestors, and anyone in Te Ao Māori will be able to go, oh, okay, he said that ancestor, that ancestor, that ancestor. You're from Waikato on the coast, and then that's where the kōrero starts, and it allows people to get people to know each other. It's funny because we work a lot with Tourism New Zealand, and they're on their journey on bringing Te Ao Māori into their space, and they're all doing their pepeha, and one of the big brand managers, she understood where I was from because I said, my ancestors from Renfrewshire, so we're kind of sharing Scotland, right? So we're sharing this info, and she's like, I'm from Renfrewshire in Scotland. And so you're immediately creating this connection between someone you've never met, in this big company, and it's just cool, you sort of get to know each other.
That connection and how it all comes together.
Yeah, I think in the business world, we quickly get to what the kaupapa is, or what the project is, but we never find out about that person. They always go, I'm a project manager, but no, you're not. You're a dad who loves skiing, who's awesome at karaoke. You know what I mean? So that's what whanangatanga is. It's just basically getting to know, and then that breaks down barriers of being a bit sort of shy, or I'm definitely not shy, but it's what I mean, eh? Like it just sort of does that. So
easy. Well, there's some good places we could go. Eh? Like, I'm a bit I would somewhere between politically incorrect and whatnot, but
bro, all good.
But you got large clients, so I also got to be like toe the line, huh?
No, we like to say what we say. You know, we're true to ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, we're pretty like open and honest, and you know, we're real people too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you know,
Mum
and we
and
come
Dad.
from the commercial big commercial worlds too, through our careers as well. So
Exactly. And
yeah.
we're mum and dad. We got 2 kids. You know, they keep us on our toes, and
yeah.
you know, we make mistakes all the time. Gosh, everyone does. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're right. This is good. I'm just I'm working out the duo dynamic, and how you bounce off each other and look at it, and then how to engage both so that it's going well.
Throwing you off.
You've got how do you balance? You said something interesting there around we're still real people, and you worked in corporate and you got large, clients. And
Yes.
from an outside perspective, I find authenticity is quite rare in these large conglomerates, because if you toe the line, you get rewarded, and if you follow the thing. So how do you navigate being true to yourself while also being commercially aware?
Yeah, I think because we've been in those spaces, like you said, you toe the line and you do what everyone else is doing, and you know, it seems hunky-dory, but I think that can have quite an effect on individuals in those places. So I think my time in the big ad world, I kind of floated around because I just didn't feel comfortable anywhere. And I think what that did was it was just like, wow, I think I'm actually okay at doing this stuff, but I don't feel like I've been given a chance because I don't feel comfortable. So I'm not actually showing you the full guy, you know? So, yeah, did you want to elaborate?
I think there's a lot said in that we're no longer in that kind of more commercial world, I suppose. We can do things our own way and make it work for us, and if that's a bit different, then that's how it needs to work. And clients have responded to that. Like we've grown our business around our tamariki, our 2 kids, and they would, I mean, before lockdown and stuff, now it's, I guess, a bit more normal, but before then, you know, we'd bring them into meetings when they're babies, or like it was just a normal thing because that's how we had to be, I suppose.
I think one thing was interesting was COVID in terms of how that kind of broke down those, you know, I call it just the bullshit layers. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like you saw like big CEOs sitting in their, you know, in their whare at home, and like the kids just walk past and they'll be eating some porridge. You know what I mean? So these were the things that were literally breaking down those bullshit barriers, those layers of just corporate bullshit when you think about it, right? And so, like, I mean, there was a really good one. I think it might have been BBC. And, you know...
you know the one.
You know the one. You know, I reckon that set it off, you know, from a hey, yeah, we are humans. We do make mistakes. We do silly things. And I think to try and be perfect in front of a whole lot of people is so unnatural. So unnatural. I mean, you know, we're 2 creatives. I've got severe ADHD, so I'll just let that be known. That's all good. I'm not fussed about telling people about that. It's mental health, all good. But anyway, I think it's like we just kind of just have this facade that we put on every day and go to work, and it's just like, why? Why do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, we're all people, you know. It just, COVID made it like normalize people, normalize everyone. You know, you've all got a life and an extension of, you know, not just you in the workplace. Yeah,
and work is your life. Like, I mean, let's face it, like, work and life does...
Well,
I know. But, like, work and life do mix, right? And you kind of... I feel like if you can make those mix really nice and smoothly, that might be more helpful and conducive to creating amazing work, or this project over here, or whatever that may be. So, you know, we just feel like just if you can allow your team members to be able to be themselves and just, you know...
Yeah.
I think the workflow's still good. Although we do like people in the office. That's really good.
God, I'm struggling with that, because I could get a whole remote workforce, and motivating people is not hard because all I do is just be service to their vision. Right. But the thing I don't like about it is there's a lack of community, and the rate of innovation's slowed. Yeah. But what we would, it was actually their idea. I was just like, they're like, oh, why don't we just be on video together while we're doing work?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I'm watching you do it. I'm going, fuck, like, you're here because you can work, and I've hired you to listen to you, not to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
it's those little comments, like from that, it's those little comments that come up that it's not worth an email or a phone call specifically to a person for that.
Yeah.
But it's just the one-off things that happen when you're all together.
Yeah, true. Like someone sharing something in the office, or someone's come back from lunch and, you know, there's a car chase or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, my mind always goes...
Or like,
you
hey!
distracted him. I could feel that.
Very much.
I'm actually going through the process of, you know, making sure I can't do that anymore. And we've also got a silent pod as well coming to the office too. So
I
I'm going
think
to
you'll be designated to the
I
silent
know,
part of it.
I do think so, eh? And then it'll be like, get out. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it all adds to it. You know, you can glance at what someone's doing when you walk past, be like, have you thought of that? Or
True.
I think it helps being together.
Yeah, comes back to human
and
interaction.
we're lucky that our team, you know, appreciates that and wants to be together too. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, I think with a business like ours as well, like it's a real people business in terms of, you know, with creativity, you kind of have to feel the, you know, the ahua and the creativity from each other to kind of spur you on, you know, pump people up. You know, I don't need any more pumping up, but it's like, I think others do, you know, sometimes. It's like, I feel like I need to be that guy to kind of like, hey guys, how are we today? You know, because sometimes it's like, you know, there might be bad weather or something bad's happened, and you kind of just need to, I think being there with each other, it's actually really choice, because you can kind of corral people in the right way, and, you know, yeah.
There was something that you talked about, ADHD, and I'm wondering, you know, early on as, you know, children are developing, they're not necessarily aware that they have this, and then they're in a system that isn't very supportive of that.
Yeah.
So what has been your journey or realization, and what has been your superpower as a result of ADHD, and how do you manage it?
Sure. Well, I'm actually a newly diagnosed.
Oh!
Like
congrats.
last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, week and a half. Yeah, so last week. You know, I think it's, well, it's funny because you go, okay, it's nice to hear it from a psychologist, because I think when people hear that term ADHD, they flip it off as a, oh yeah, my kid's really talkative, or oh yeah, my kid's this and that. But what that does, it kind of minimizes the people that actually do have it. And now I see into my childhood, and I was like, oh my God, you have to go through this massive checklist of all the things that would sort of say that you have it, and all the things were just right there for me, like when I think back to that. But even in this day and age right now, I can see it. Like I don't want to get too deep into ADHD, because I don't actually know that much about it in terms of you know, being able to talk about it. But just from my experience, and obviously from your experience, within business, right? Like it's pretty hard. Like I'm lucky I'm in the creative space, because I think you get a little bit more leeway, I think, when you're a creative, you know, and that actually adds to the ability to be able to do creative as well, because I'm basically a magpie for knowledge. So my brain will go a million miles an hour, looking over here. Oh, that's a cool bottle, you know, like. It literally is like that. Like
It's not the room for you, bro.
Well, I mean, honestly, I came in here and the first thing was like, oh my God, I love that thing. You know, like, so my brain's just, what? So it's perfect for me. I think I feel a bit worried for those who are maybe not in the creative space, who have that, and, you know, hopefully they can get the help they need. I am getting the help I need. Obviously got super supportive Laura here, my wife in Wharangatira, and also my family. And I grew up in a loving family, so I'm very, very, very privileged, and that's great.
I didn't believe in it previously, and I think that's part of the reason why it's taken so long to diagnose, maybe.
I didn't either, too.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't believe it was like a thing, or?
No,
yeah,
really. I think that's like, probably a bit of a...
you know, overdiagnosed, and everyone's on the scale, or whatever it is. But, yeah, delving in a bit more and exploring it, yeah.
Yeah,
it's an actual thing.
Yeah, you're an outsider as well, so you're seeing it daily. Whereas people...
His brain definitely works different to mine.
Well, we see each other like 24/7, right? So you've got a lens on it from...
Yeah.
You see it 24/7. With parents, kids away for 8 hours, they don't see what's happening at school. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's like... I think we can safely say it's that, and we've, you know, it's diagnosed and all that sort of stuff, but I think people just are quite flippant with how they talk about it, and yeah.
And I think for you, it's developed the superpower of, you know, you might not have excelled at school academically,
God,
but he's got the people skills. You know, put him in a room and he can just talk, or just, you know, off the cuff socialize with anyone and relate to them, and it's amazing. Yeah,
I did not pass a thing at school. The only thing I passed was a rugby ball.
Oh yeah, what position?
Halfback.
Halfback.
Yeah, you'd look at me and go, "What? Sure? Are you sure about that?" No, I was very, very trim back in those days, but fast forward 25 years. But yeah, no. So I guess that's how we look at it now. Is I guess utilising what I've got and what I can't do and my limitations in the business at the moment. So. And I try where I can, and if I don't, it's not going to happen. So
he's a people person, building relationships, and that,
it's all about relationships and that sort of thing. So anyway,
well, we're gonna. I noticed that you guys obviously have been together for a while, and you're bouncing off each other, and you're looking. And Laura sort of looks to you to talk, and so we're gonna delve into Laura a little bit. So there's nowhere to hide.
I'm not the people person. I prefer to be behind the scenes.
She's awesome too. I think she probably doubts herself too much. So go for it.
Yeah. Well, the best thing I can say is once you're past the line of commitment, there's no point hoping for mentally that you can escape. So we're coming after you. There's no more looking at old mate. So Laura, what obviously detail-orientated people that systemize and think of things like that. Creativity, and those two things. How do you hold those two worlds?
Yeah, well, my commercial whakapapa is graphic design, so came out of school and studied that, just did a diploma, and I love design. I still try and get on the tools as much as I can, which is hardly ever now, but just I guess the business just kind of grew organically, particularly at the start, and I guess you have to develop those organisation skills and be across everything. Attention to detail is important to me, I think. So
we might bail you from looking at old mate there for support. So we're going to give you two more questions, Laura, and then we'll come.
Okay.
So what has been so I find often, entrepreneurs have to shed certain belief systems in order to reach a certain height. One is feeling deserving of charging something.
Yeah.
One is relinquishing control and delegating to others, all that sort of stuff. So what has been, as you've gone through it, been your biggest hurdle? Or imposter syndrome?
Yeah, all of that.
All of it? Just six?
Been through all of it. You've got to have the hard conversations, and that is hard. But you've got to do it in business, and that's talking about money as well. You've got to understand that you need the money to. You're in business to make money essentially, and to pay your people as you grow. Get more people, and you've still got to pay them regardless. So, having that as a priority. I'm not driven by money. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. It didn't grow up with much, but from that didn't need much. I think both of us are like that. Sorry, bouncy off him again. But,
I don't need to start overthinking more. You're doing well. You're doing really well.
He normally elaborates on my points.
He's doing well, especially. There's only one more question, and then you can escape and then breathe for a while.
The second part to that is the leadership thing. I don't delegate well. I'm a bit of a control freak. Like to have that control.
Process detail,
I have my processes and like to be across everything. So as we grow, I'm more, actively trying to let go and it takes a lot for me, but and I don't want to palm, I don't want to ask people to do stuff that I can do, but then realizing I don't have the time to do everything. So that's hard for me. Yeah.
Okay, last question. So you talked about you didn't necessarily have much when you were growing up.
Yeah.
And so then you've got this environment of people that don't have much, and then you're changing your belief systems and your status in life. How have you navigated those two worlds? Are you more conscious of who you surround yourself? Like I was talking to a guy the other day. He's like, if you're not making $30,000 in a month in a business, you shouldn't even have a business. I made $600,000 the other day. I was like, I stretch my mind.
Right.
So how have you managed that, coming from that sort of humble beginnings to advertising agency?
Yeah, it's taken a lot to get my head around the money side. I think I've thought about going to a hypnotist to actually drill it in, I don't know, subconsciously, because I'm it's the last thing I want to do is invoice people, but I kind of have to. And I guess, grew up in South Auckland, Onehunga, Manly Bridge, and, a good family environment, and, around a mix of cultures too. And and it's all about, the people, growing up with nice people and friends and whānau.
Did they pull you down though as you're going up? Because that happens. They don't even mean to. And we'll come back to you, brother. Your focus for ADHD doing well. You're getting used to this new diagnosis. I'm listening, but I'm focusing on 10,000.
This is hard for him. I don't know about pull me down. I think just more being grounded and surrounded in community. Like we don't do a lot of kind of like products and more commercial advertising or design. We work with a lot of like Te Aka Whai Ora, Te Whatu Ora, like health authorities, and Tourism New Zealand and things like things that aren't trying to sell you stuff necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that helps, and being around community, it helps.
Cool. Well, you're back, bro. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to dovetail off what Laura was saying about how you mentioned the products. I think that also has something to say about your propensity to want to do good for the earth as well.
Yeah.
Like we've joined this program with the Comms Council, and it's all about how we monitor our business to make sure we're not creating all this carbon. So, and to talk to Laura's point on no products, we obviously are more service, like we design things, but that has a cost as well, because we still have to store the data, we still have to print things, we still have to, obviously we support our whole team that are coming in every day, that's travel, so we're kind of having to monitor the business. So I think you're talking about in terms of, we've been in these worlds of doing things and making things and creating things for big brands and things like that. And I think just our system has kind of come back to probably what we grew up with when we were younger. We didn't have much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a bit of a circle for us.
And you want to do good in the world,
Yeah. Do good, not the PR version of good. Because we're you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all do it. And I think we're getting smarter with technology. Even people who are creating products, they're getting smarter with technology, how they package it, how they ship it. All of those things are just becoming smarter and smarter and smarter. And hopefully we can get to that sort of lower side of what's creating, things that are happening in the world. So I think that's probably my dovetail off that corridor that you just had. So
well, there's a lot of people I come across. Like I went to a market. I actually cried, but there's a lot of people that they're in this entrenched view of the world. They're just turning out to a job they hate. Their life's unfulfilling. They don't think they can get beyond their circumstances. And obviously, both of you have come out of these humble beginnings. If there's a young version of yourself, listen to this, and they're like, "Yo, I want to do this. It's not possible. Where's my example of success?"
Gotcha.
What would you say? Yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool. I think, I didn't have, and I talked to who you surround yourself with, right? My father is a builder, mother cleaner, but father very entrepreneurial in his approach. So I was quite lucky there. But I think kids these days and young adults these days have there's a lot of knowledge out there. Like you said, you just said you can clean it up with AI. So there's a lot of ability to be able to start business. You could start a business on a phone. I think there's an ease of doing things. I think that's where you need to surround yourself. If you're young and up and coming, you need to go out and network at certain things of what you like, whatever that industry may be. And like you said, surround yourself with those people, because if you are maybe in that mindset or that potentially a deficit mindset of I can't do this, or someone's telling me I can't do this, you need to get away from those people, because that's harmful to how you approach seeing yourself in the future. And I listened to Bob Proctor. He's old mate, man. He's honestly, man, like, I love what he says. Like, we don't get taught the faculties of our minds. We don't get taught to amplify our intuition, amplify our creativity, all of the imagination, all those things. And those are the things, if you look at every single entrepreneur, those are all the things they possess. And so they've obviously, some may have grown up in those atmospheres where it has been harnessed and nurtured, and some may haven't. And I think it kind of goes to both. You can make it either or, I think, is how I look at it. And when we say humble, like Humble being, we had quite loving families, which is great. That's a real privilege. I think that's a real number one for me. Is like, if you have a loving family, it gives you security in yourself. You know, if you've got an unstable family, that's even harder to be able to then make it, because there's no one to bounce off, or there's no one to kind of give your stupid idea to, or you know what I mean. Or if you fail, and there's no one to cry on the shoulder, because there's nothing there for people who are in that unstable environment. So find your safety, find those who uplift you, block out every negative thought.
I guess leading on from that, it's I guess as I grew up, I was given the freedom to just be myself. So I think everyone's creative when they say it, like all kids are creative, and that kind of gets taught out of you. And so I didn't necessarily get that taught out of me. So it's cool that it's still around. I love creativity and being creative.
She's awesome Laura's awesome because she still believes and brings back the idea of tactility, as opposed to just let's get on an iPad and there's all the creativity in front of you.
Draw a picture.
Yeah, drawing pictures or
Draw it on paper with a pen.
or making a mess in our kitchen. You know what I mean? So like all of that kind of experimentation and stuff is I think it's going to be a full circle. We're going to be so entrenched in this iPad bloody AI world that there's going to be like another industry of like bringing back the old school stuff. And you've probably seen it with like music technology. You know, obviously vinyl's still around. You know, that's been around for, 100 years, more, maybe. But, like, this idea of maybe sort of, what do they call it, like mum and pop sort of industry. It's kind of little, it's just smaller. It's not the big stuff like tech and digital and AI and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, to those young people who are... Who have that? If you have that fire, man, you need to just like keep on stoking it. Because if you have that fire, that's amazing first and foremost. If you have that little bit of like a little spark, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I guess it's a bit of like nature versus nurture as well. You know, like what is ingrained in you and what will you do anyway versus what are you taught to do or have learned.
You could run this whole podcast. Just fucking go.
Well, I was just thinking, like if I think back to my childhood, like I said about my father, yes, he was a builder, but he used to take us mushroom picking, and from that point,
normal mushrooms,
yes. Field mushrooms,
you can eat them.
Yeah, these are
we
the
could afford a TV, so we got one.
Yeah.
Nature,
exactly. So these are legit ones. So my dad had a black book of farmers in the wider Auckland area. He would ring every year in a certain part of the year and say, "Hey, how are you going?" And they go, "Yep, good. Can you come and get all the mushrooms off our farm?" Because they give the cows eczema. So we would go there. We would fill the van. My dad had a big Bedford. We would fill this Bedford full of mushrooms. My dad would set up 3 sites around Auckland, and we would sell these mushrooms $10 a bag. I sold to like Doug Myers. I sold mushrooms to Doug Myers when I was a kid. You know, so like right there and then I knew I could make money off picking stuff. So it was like free. The only cost was petrol and me ordering Dinos on the side of the road and having pizza delivered to me. God. You know what I mean? So like I learned everything off my dad and that entrepreneurial spirit. And now I've forgotten where I'm going with that. That's but anyway.
But make your own way too, I reckon. Like
Yeah.
If there's no role models, you know, be the role model.
Yeah.
So.
Lemonade stand
all day of the week. $20 a pop.
Do it.
Guilt trip them because you're a kid.
Do it.
True.
They'll pay.
Do something new. Get the soda stream out. You know, sugar syrup. You know.
Flash.
Yeah, you're away.
That's it.
Well, on a complete side tangent, because I'm a little deep. I think some of the best creatives I've come across, they're able to pull from the darkness of their soul in a way.
Yeah.
You know? They're able to speak the truth of what's unsaid in others. So what do you attest to the creativity that you've developed, and how do you recognize creativity in people that you hire?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Really good question. Let's think about that for a second.
That's very deep for us.
No, I think that you're so correct. The best creativity just comes from hardship. It comes from failing. It comes from love. You know, it's the old age thing of, you know, it just comes from life.
Lived experience.
Yeah. You know, and that's why I tell all our creatives, I went for a ride. I was like, oh no, I can't write the script. Jumped on my electric bike up and down K Road a couple of times. Came back, wore my helmet. You know, and then I was like, oh, my head's cleared. Boom, and I started writing. So I think like draw from life. Like, that's the most important thing. That's what we got taught, at AUT, from the comms and department, advertising creativity. Go to a museum, read a book, watch something stupid on the net, fill your cup of just knowledge that you've never known before. Never, ever sort of just go into websites and go, oh yeah, that's cool. You just got to read a book. I just saw this cool thing in your office. Now that's an imprint on my mind. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take that away, and somewhere in my journey, I'm going to be like,
it'll come out.
Face, you know what I mean?
Come out an ad one day.
Learn from life. Seeing your face, I'm going to learn from life. You just learn from life, and that's what I say.
Yeah, and in regards to hiring people, we, I guess creators, we do not a test, but like an exercise, get them to do an example that we've had as a live brief previously, and do it that way. But some of our creatives haven't come from the industry necessarily. Our copywriter at the moment's come from journalism, so she came through that way, and it's
I think show us your passion is what we try and get out of anyone who's like either applied for a job or we've asked for them to apply. It's just like, prove to us your passion for what we do. Like, if you like design, show us that you like design, and you can tell those who will go handy on their presentation to us, and then you'll be able to tell those that maybe they haven't really expressed themselves as much as they should have.
You were a politician on that second one. They did shit. They tried very hard.
I think I come from that world. I come from that world of literally that is shit. Like, you would get, like, we would present ideas and they'll be like, that's shit.
Oh, okay.
So
we had shit on them.
No, and I think that's the reason
stand on them.
That some of them would even stand on their work and kick it away.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the world of advertising. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't say any companies.
No, not at all.
Like, what's the worst thing you've seen done to a creative? That sounds weird. But like, where they just demolished their hope.
I think it's more an overall sort of approach to judging people's work, and maybe those people are amazing creators, but they don't know how to be good people. Do you know what I mean? So they may be amazing creators, winning every single award in the world on their creative, and that's good for their job, but they don't know how to like teach someone, and like that can actually be really detrimental to a company, to people like young creatives that can they leave the industry because if someone said that's the worst work I've ever seen. Like, you can
we've seen creatives,
you've heard some real nasty shit like say like that to people, and it's just like, man, these are creatives, they're real soft people, you got to be kind.
They're so soft.
They're really, really soft, and like you just got to guide that. You have to really guide that and be kind, I think, is a real important sort of...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And it's about finding people who are the right fit as well. Like, for us, all our team and our clients as well. So... Yeah.
Like we said, real people, really love what they do. Don't just say it, show us. It's like, it's the old adage, right?
Yeah.
Don't say it, show it, so...
There's I don't know if you know Stan Henry and the Attention Seekers.
We know Stanley. Yeah,
I've been watching. I've known him for a few years, and he came on the podcast. But I watched their TikToks, and I'm like, a lot of them seem to having mental breaks and crying. And if the creativity is, pulling from that part, so obviously these people have had tough experience to be so beautifully creative. How do you create a healthy culture while also inspiring beautiful creative? Like, I used to write poetry, but I don't write it because life's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Is that a thing, or did I make that up?
No. I mean, you're dealing with people's emotions.
Yeah.
Like, it's a group of people who are, everyone has emotions in their day, whether they're assholes or really kind or whatever that may be. But I think it's just about managing how that flows through the day. Like me, I'm a range of those emotions. And that's, I would never... I mean, we go to war when it's creative and design. We go to war because that's our everyday, right? That's how we sell to clients what we do. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I think it's a.
I go to war.
We'll fight it out to get to the best outcome.
She knows what I mean. Yeah.
Hearing.
Yeah. Well, fighting, yelling, arguing. Yeah, we want the work to be good because it reflects on what we, I guess, believe in and what we do as creatives and all that sort of stuff. And to be honest, clients love the stuff that's unique and original and all of these things. So we try and I think we actually have quite a kind approach to everyone who works in our business, yeah?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with this diagnosis at the moment, so I'm hoping in the next couple of months that will be sort of maybe.
Surely milk it. I can't even just.
No, I can't milk it. I can tell them. I can tell them how it works, but I can't really milk. I'm really trying. Like, I will fall asleep at the end of the day because I'll be trying so hard. And she still doesn't believe that one. To focus on being good, as in do all my emails. If I have a checklist of stuff to do, I have to like really focus. I had to do ASB stuff yesterday, and that was unbelievable. And then by 6 o'clock, I was like, I'm going to sleep now, and I was gone.
I didn't know it was a thing. Apparently, it is.
Well, my mind is so focused on trying to be good and not being disruptive, not standing up all the time, not walking around. It takes a lot out of me. So
why not change what you do?
There are methods that I'll probably learn over the next couple of months of how I can maybe approach that and see if I can kind of minimize all those things. But yeah, we'll see what that looks like.
Well, okay, let's test both of you on this one. So, different people.
Yes.
If you weren't limited by time, money, or the acceptance of your partner, how would you do the business? And you just do what you love. And then you can just do whatever. So you'd be like, lining everything up, getting everything perfect, making all the systems. And then you'd be like, I'm out there fucking popping balloons and stuff. My dad's going to write this there, go over here. Yep. How would you run it?
Well, I've come from the agency where they exploded billboards.
Okay.
So I worked at Colenso. There was this really cool idea. It was for a courier company, and they had, this is my introduction to advertising. And we're all walking up from College Hill, and we're standing across the road, and this billboard, it's like counting down, and it's for fast couriers, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, boom. So this is my world going into advertising. Like, it's just all crazy, and like, some of the ideas we presented were like, I think it was for the Hulk for TV3, and we were like, yeah, let's get like a car made out of polystyrene and just put it at AUT and people can just pick it up and throw it like they're the Hulk. Like, that's like the ideas that I kind of love doing. So I'd go big and bold and beyond, and whatever that costs. Like you said, you can do whatever you want, man. I would be like trying to get shit to the moon. That's the kind of shit that I'll be doing. Okay. But that's like you said, if you want to do what you want. But
like day to day as well. Like, what does your day look like?
Gotcha.
So creative, amazing, and we're coming to you, Laura. So
all good.
Probably not anything to do with accounts.
Oh yeah, okay.
At all. I try, but it's barrier after barrier after barrier. I normally get everything done. It just takes a little bit longer than say most people will do it. Right? Yeah, would you agree?
Debatable.
Trying to, Anyway, that's me.
So don't do accounts, big ideas. All right.
Well, I'd also stay away from the accounts stuff. We're terrible. Two creatives running business.
CFO, accountant?
Well, we do have support.
We've got support, yeah.
Yeah, we're partnered with FCB, which is a big global company, and they...
Yeah, but they should do it. Fuck them. You know what I mean? What are they doing?
They are...
New ideas.
We've got accounts people.
Yeah,
so,
we do have... Yeah, we do have...
Why do you do it? You check them. You just push a box.
We do a lot of approving and stuff like that, but there is stuff that I think we might even actually need to get a bookkeeper. That's kind of internal, that comes into your business and da-da-da-da-da.
That's kind of... We do have stuff like that.
No, they do account stuff, so that's kind of different from bookkeeping.
Oh, so here we go. So here's an idea, and then you don't like relinquishing control, so you're naturally resistant because you're used to things.
She's thinking about the money. I just think about ease.
No.
So if there was someone who came into our business every Wednesday and said, okay, right, I need all the...
We've got people that do that.
I thought they were just like accounts people, like bigger stuff, like broader.
I have arguments. It's not on me, it's on you. I was just here.
No, I know. That's all good. This is normal. We do this in front of clients as well.
I was going to ask you.
We do. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you do. In front of Tourism New Zealand.
I think you're allowed
we have to travel with them sometimes so they get the full...
No, but we always try to get to the right place, right? We're all going on the same journey. It's just that it's up and down and all over the place.
Yeah, it's life.
Okay. So you both don't like doing accounts, and you don't want to spend too much money, and you want to buy the time that it'll give you. So
Yeah,
I'd like some thinking time in there. Yeah, just time to slow down, become... Yeah.
We're at a point that we have to, like Laura said, relinquish our control to things, because once you get bigger, you can't, because you got to start believing in your team that's, working on these big projects. And I think I've actually started to do that more now because
we're getting
bigger.
Better at it.
And just letting the team just have the, go off and do your thing. You're creatives, you know what you're doing. This is how you do an ad, blah, blah, blah. So I feel I've kind of come to that point like, oh, shivers, this used to be me, but now it's them now.
We're trying to actively step back a little bit from micromanaging and
Yeah.
Well, before you answer that question of your perfect day, what would give you the reassurance to relinquish a little bit more control? What would you need, either from the business or from your partner, to feel more at ease with the idea of progressing to a little bit more change?
I guess just more support, or people thinking. I mean, I don't want to surround myself with people who all think the same as me, but someone who could do things how I would do them. I don't know. It's a tricky question.
And so you have a certain standard that you want to
be
set. Also, you're reflective of that standard if they do it badly.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, maintaining that high quality, because we do like that throughout our work. So, yeah. So
if you had the reassurance that they had the quality of work to the standard you're happy with, you would feel more comfortable relinquishing that over time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be a dream.
That would be amazing.
There you go, mate.
That would be amazing.
Anyways, so your perfect day in the business?
Maybe working from the beach or something. I wouldn't be in the office. Yeah, I don't know. A bit of like design, or at least kind of research or thinking about design. Yeah, just working with nice clients and clients who are, I don't know, I come back to the doing good in the world. It sounds too airy-fairy, but
as long as you're doing good and you're not just saying it to do good, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have all the creds yet. We're on our journey. Like Raymond said, joining AdNet Zero, and but part of why we moved into a green building was because it's a green building. So we've got like worm farms in the garage and
it's freezing.
7 It is. We bought blankets, New Zealand wool blankets for the team, and Noah blankets, beautiful, Māori made. Beautiful. They're awesome. So.
That's interesting. So both of you don't like accounts, and both of you, well, it sounds like you seem to enjoy the relationship component while still having some level of creativity and making a meaningful difference.
Yeah,
You're breathing like I'm wrong. So is there something you would add on to it?
I'm really not a people person, but I do enjoy that client contact.
Yeah, you're good at that.
Feeling, I still am in most briefs just to get a feeling of what they're saying.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to jump in on. Our clients love our, like, obviously Laura and our accounts team in those certain moments throughout the business and the timeline and the projects. Me, I come in, I'm a bit of a fluff, I kind of make people laugh, it's kind of fun, and I think that's what works so well in our business is I don't have the capacity or ability to be able to do what you do, so that's amazing for our business,
To think through all the details or check boxes that need to get ticked along the way for the clients.
I forget the shoes when I've got 3 things to go and get from home. I forget the boys' mouth guards. I'm that guy. So, but anyway.
Well, it makes sense. It's there's this guy, Drew Knowles, probably know if you know Stan Henry, but Influence Ecology. He talks about archetypes of people and where they should be in the stage of an idea. Mm-hmm. So the first one, you might be the creative, great idea, don't shit on them too early because he's just thinking of ideas, let it all go out. And then you come further along and the Laura part is like, okay, I'm going to find everything wrong with this to make sure we do it right and get everything process orientated. So don't give me this fucking idea here until you've thought of this. Is that kind of...
You kind of nailed it a little bit there, I think, maybe.
I beg to differ.
Oh, yeah, go on then.
I guess because I come from the big ad world, I understand what things cost. Okay. So I can kind of quickly go into knowing, okay, it's going to cost this much for editing or filming or travel. I understand all of those things. I'm more trying to find a way we can work it out so we can do all those things. Gotcha. So I guess I'm more pragmatic. I'm more sort of like, we can do it. And then people are like, I just don't like being teared down at the point of creativity because that can really just ruin everything. And I think clients come to us for that. They come to us for that creativity, but we're also still thinking, shit, how are we going to do this? Okay, we're going to, you know what I mean? Like, we use this different camera, we'll use 3 people, we won't be able to build a big team to shoot this thing. So, yeah.
It's to say yes and then figure out how to do it.
How to do it later.
But we've done that so many times that we know how to do most things.
You already know all the bits, and so I think that might be I think, actually, creatives get a bit of a bad rep as well. I think when I think of a creative, I think that's actually strategy, because you're working with people's emotions, you're working with subjectivity. That's so much harder than working with objectivity. You're working with people's ideas of something. It's
not factual, so it's not a science of 1 plus 1 equals 2.
And it's actually super hard, because you have to, in creative advertising, you have to think, okay, there's been 75 years of creative advertising. You don't want to do the same thing. I mean, creative's so big on saying, I've seen that before. Techniques are used, and you can apply a different insight to that technique. But I think, most creatives are wanting to do a very original, unique idea that will sell a product for a brand or a service or whatever that may be. So, I've forgotten again.
No, that's all right. Well, on that, I haven't. I'm listening. Don't worry. So we've got got both these personalities. Fucking.
Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. So yeah, you got the pragmatic creative side, and then 75 years of things happening. How do you balance the wanting to be original with results of corporate destroying your soul? How do you?
Yeah, that's a really hard fine line for us. I think we try and just sort of, I don't want to say educate, but we try and sort of just let our clients know, you guys came to us, we understand that you know what you're doing, but equally, we understand what we're doing. And I think it's just building that mutual trust for each other and just kind of giving each other that space to kind of go, okay, I've taken the ball, I'm going to kind of just play with it a little bit and kind of just show you what I mean. And then you give the ball back to them and they do the same thing. And so it's just sort of building that mutual trust so that each other can understand and not have an ego. I think we're really good at the ego thing, is kind of probably a little bit lighter in our team in terms of creativity and the bigger, wider world of advertising, because it's really different from that world. Because there's a lot of big egos in the advertising.
I guess,
I just want to know what Laura's going to say.
I'm loud.
I don't have an ego. No.
Well, on that, we've learned to, I guess it's maybe an age thing as well, but, disassociate yourself from the work. If your idea doesn't get picked, or the client culls it, or, says, I don't like it, or whatever it is, doesn't happen often, but you're not going to get your feelings hurt.
Nah.
And would rather that they were honest about it, because it gets to the right conclusion faster, rather than kind of tippy-toeing around and it just kind of is a lot smoother that way.
I think also, like you said, going to that age thing as well, we've been through so much in terms of the worlds that we've kind of operated in, that we can get to a solution quite quickly, and it's normally the right solution, because we just filter out all the crap. And all the, sometimes I might have 10 other little creative things going on here, but then I go, this is actually the right one. And it might not be blowing up a billboard, but it might be sort of doing something different. And so we're very good at our focus on our craft of advertising, creativity, and you with design. So we normally get to the right place
quickly.
Yeah. And it has all of the, we do tick boxes too. We have to do the tick boxes. We have to make sure that it's hitting the ROIs and the metrics and all those things, because we bank on creativity doing those things, and creativity being strategic as well.
Yeah. It comes with the years of experience, and
you're doing well to stay focused.
I know. I literally went up there.
There's a fucked up noise in the corner, people. We're gonna keep rolling.
That'll help my team.
And realizing the brain's a muscle, so I guess our creative muscles in our brain are always exercising.
Yeah.
So on that, how do you teach someone not to get offended by their idea getting crushed?
It comes back to that softly as well, because you can literally just go, no, that's fucking terrible. Because I'm actually really hard on ideas, but the way I approach that is I'll just either I'll give it to you factually, I've seen this 10 times, and then they kind of have to think about it and damn, okay, you get that kind of, you go into this world and you have to just kind of be okay with, sorry, I'm fucking up the thing. You have to build a bit of a skin as well.
Yeah, I think it just comes with time and experience and repetition of telling them it's okay. And occasionally they might get dropped in it. We had a creative in a client conversation. The client didn't realise they were talking to the creative, and they basically were fully brutally honest.
Them the real,
I hate
this
it.
Is shit.
This.
This is
said
the
all
worst.
these things wrong with it, picked it apart, and And then at the end, I think after realised and sent an apology. But
I was lucky, man.
I think it was probably good for the creative in that case, because it had justification behind the comments. And
she's pragmatic too, and a journalist, and really, really understanding of how things aren't right, so they're just going to get told to you straight. I was lucky because I'm quite an emotional person, so I was actually lucky. I had great mentors my whole career, and I'll just point out that most of them were wahine, women, and they were just amazing at being able to go, it's actually not that good, but like I really like that. You know what I mean? Whereas males like
doing it nicely.
Because I'm a react, and that does come down to some of the ADHD as well. I react really quickly to feedback on stuff that I've done, so I'm very reactionary. But like,
what's the worst thing you heard?
Oh, yo,
piece of shit.
No, like, oh, bro, like,
you went straight there.
No, like, honestly, you're so right. Like, I literally had, I presented like a scamp as a drawing.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, I presented the scamp to the CD, and they're like, "That's the worst drawing of an orange, Raymond. Go and do it again." That was the worst I got. Like, I don't want to demonize the advertising world. They were fantastic. I learned a lot. So many great people in that world, and that's the politician kind of coming out. No.
Orange like now? You nailed it.
No, it's weird.
I am the worst.
Because other people do it now.
I literally jump into ChatGPT, draw me an orange, or whatever it is. But yeah, no.
With ChatGPT.
Yo, exactly.
I'm helping you, brother.
Oh, bro. Yeah. So yeah.
That was the worst description ever. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
I was just fucking with you.
No, I know. It's just but yeah, no. Actually, no. People were pretty good, but I was lucky, man. Like as a creative, because I've heard some stories. You're not firsthand, but like you heard stories about just creatives getting not looked after.
Well, most businesses, that's where creativity goes to die in business, but the best businesses don't. Because that's the only skill we have as humans, really.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, bringing in, we've done 50 minutes, home stretch, Laura.
Oh, wow.
You've done well. You can escape. So, there's a unique thing about you two is that you're very, different in the way you approach things, and, you're in a relationship and you run a business. Yeah. So, there's going to be people that have relationships, want to run a business, and have these dynamics they have to navigate.
22 years, bro.
Don't do it.
22 years. Don't do it. Don't go there. How do you leave work at home?
That's something I'm probably the one that has to learn about that.
We don't.
You don't. Just keep.
But he's learned over time to not wake me up at 3 a.m. with a good idea, because it's never a good idea at that time.
Okay, that's reasonable.
I'm like waiting there, like with my thing, like going, wake up.
It's just all life. I don't believe in work and life.
Okay.
It mixes. Yeah. For us, it mixes because it just kind of. We'll be sitting there eating, at a cafe and be like, oh, what about this? And you just got to stop yourself.
Try to stop a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to be more mindful of that now, knowing my diagnosis and all that sort of stuff. So I'm trying to go, okay, I'm not going to try and talk about that. Let's talk about something else. The football.
Fair. What's the unique thing about being in a relationship while running a business? What do you think gives you an edge?
I can completely just tell her, no, that's a shit idea.
Yeah, you can be brutally honest.
Oh, you can be brutally honest.
Yeah.
Brutally
honest.
Honest.
It gets there quicker, Yeah. Like, we know each other so well that we're not going to, probably still hurt Felix. But
there was one idea I presented to Laura, and I thought it was good, but it was for a honey brand, and I was like, what about this? We get everyone to go to like Countdown or whatever place they were selling the honey, and let's get them to bring in different vessels. Like you could bring anything. You could literally bring like a gumboot, a cup, a saxophone, and you could fill it with honey. So like there was like a promo. Come down to Countdown, bring any vessel. It could be anything. And she was like, it's not good. I'm like, it's awesome.
Cut that down straight up.
I was arguing with everyone. I was like, it's the best idea in the world. Imagine that. Imagine getting on the news. People bring the saxophones in or like a trumpet or whatever, and you fill it with honey, and it'll be amazing. Anyway, didn't go ahead. Damn. I'm still going to try and push that one.
And you're not too scared to hurt each other's feelings, I guess.
Yeah, you get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It
works.
Okay. I don't have this opportunity to ask that too much. Alex Hormozi and Layla Hormozi is a business partnership that I think are really cool and interesting. And so someone said to them like, oh, you guys are really amazing business owners and stuff, but you're only in a relationship. Like, what if you guys break up? What happens to us? And they're like, oh, okay. So they just went and got married. They didn't do anything. They just got the certificate and did it.
Oh, God. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
It works.
I wonder as well, like family as well. You know, you talked about integrating family into it, and I think a lot of people would be curious about.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have a family, you want to develop your career. How do you juggle those two things, and can you?
They just come with you. They just come with you. Our kids are so adaptable. Like, they come everywhere with us. I'll give you a really, really broad example of this. We had New Age Tourism as a client. They flew up with us. They'd probably been to the islands like 50 times.
Our kids.
we travel all over the country. 9 times out of 10 they're coming with us. We were with Derek Lardeli in Gisborne, working on some mahi, and they're sitting over there playing on things, and he's talking about great bringing your kids with you and how you kind of integrate that into your work life, and and all of that balance and so-called balance. And we're all over the place, so they just adapt. Like, they are voiceovers for global campaigns. They are, they are showing us like prototypes using AI. Like, they just work in with us, and they love it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's still certain times I used to believe you can have it all. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, you maybe can have it all, but in different ways. And you've got to have that support team around you. Like, we're lucky all our parents are alive.
Yeah, and they're all very close to us.
Yeah, so we do rely on them a little bit to help.
Yeah.
And it's just coming back to your values. So, knowing your own personal values and what's important, and making decisions that way. But we've grown the business, like Raymond said, around the kids. So
we pitched for business, and our kids were literally next door in the next door neighbour's apartment with grandma while we were pitching to Neurotourism.
When our kid was 3 months old, so you could hear him crying through the windows in the background. But we won it, luckily.
Yeah.
And then, from then on, he was in most meetings, as he grew up.
Yeah, we were working with 2 Degrees. He's there in the bassinet. Laura's, probably, So, we just bring them with us. And
I mean, running our own business has meant we've made it work for us. So that's just how we've had to do it.
It's normal
and it
for
works
us.
For us. Yeah.
Was there ever like a really tough moment, because you're in the home stretch for 5 minutes?
Oh, good.
Because sometimes what happens in entrepreneurs, someone has no idea what they're doing, they start it, they go out there, and then they rely on their partner's income. You guys are like, business together. Or was there like a dicey moment? Or
Well, I started it 15 years ago. I was still working part-time as well.
Okay.
I guess it wasn't till... And Raymond was freelancing, and more brought him into the business. And
so we organically grew to a certain point, which was... What was that, like 2000?
When our son was born, probably like 9 years ago. And I think having kids gave us the drive to actually get serious about it.
And a
to
mortgage
be honest.
As well.
We had a mortgage, but having to support this other being or life or person was like, what, I got to think seriously about what we're doing here. And
I think there's just got to be I know we get so caught up by working in different businesses and working for somebody. There's got to be some point in your life where you just go, there's got to be something out there, and for some people, if you're wanting to do that, but just take a chance. It's not the end of the world. I heard a podcast or something where they were like, if I lose my house, I lose my house. It's not the end of the world. I think the way we frame things as being the end of the world because you've lost a house, or you've gone this way, or your car's been repoed, or whatever that means. It's just like, is it really the end of the world? Can you not just start again?
Yeah, you've got that knowledge built.
And I think that goes back to our we didn't have money as a security. We had loving parents, and like you said, someone boosting you up, or letting you do creative things.
Yeah.
That was our security. So that just in our mind fed our ability to go, oh yeah, okay, if that idea goes out, I'll do another idea. You know what I mean? So I feel like for anyone listening, in terms of wanting to take that leap, you just have to take it. If it doesn't work out, you can always go back to a job, right? I would say to Laura, I was like, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go work at Burger King. And just in my mind, I was like, fucking sweet, I'll get whatever I need to fucking pay a bill or whatever that means.
Yeah.
But you just gotta fucking try it.
Yeah. I guess, going to that point, long story of starting the business was started in 2008. Obviously, a recession hit. I'd quit a job to start the business, didn't actually realise I needed to actually do a whole lot of new business work. Thought, people will come. They didn't come. Not sure what I was thinking. And then so I had to go get a part-time job to
supplement what we were doing.
Yeah.
But I think Laura actually from the start actually built I would call them systems around getting business. So, built in the idea of when we built our website, we had a rundown of the week, what we were doing to kind of really just kind of put out there, we're here. And then when LinkedIn sort of kicked off, you were doing more PR about ourselves. And I think
just marketing stuff.
Yeah, well, no, but as a starting business, PR is really, really powerful. So if you've won an award or you've put yourself out there for something or you've done something great, PR it. We do that with everything we do. Like I went to DNAD this year and was a judge. We PR'd the hell out of that. We dovetailed off DNAD's work, and I created this pencil that we presented to like DNAD, and that's like their first pencil they've ever been gifted in their history, and that became a nice piece of PR for us, and also obviously the mission of what that was about. But we use every opportunity to tell people about what we're doing. PR is so powerful. I think the general public doesn't actually know what PR actually does.
Yeah, no, me either.
You know what I mean?
PR person yesterday, I still don't know what it means.
Oh, it's amazing, bro.
Right.
Like you and your podcast, you do it. I see you online. I see you on LinkedIn, and I think that's the point.
Well, if you think of a newspaper, say 80% of the newspaper is all PR.
PR.
So stories selling you something or with a
Positioning
a
something.
brand behind it.
Yeah.
It might be just that one word in a big article, and that's the point they're trying to get across, or the brand they're trying to get across.
Yeah, so it's not all news that just happens, like what happened down. It is people actually sitting at a desk and going, okay, I'm going to write a story about this over here or this over here. So it basically puts words into people's minds about something.
With an interesting angle or topical or, I mean, people, journalists need something to write about, so why not give them something to write about?
PR is super powerful, because you look at any advertising agency, they will have a big PR component about pushing a certain cool idea or kaupapa or whatever that may be. But it just amplifies an idea so that it gets spread amongst so many platforms and people and whatever that
We're not in the PR industry,
by
the way.
But, I worked at big agencies, and, the big PR companies that worked alongside those big agencies would be at every meeting. So you're constantly just sort of, listening to them and understanding what they do. And I have a respect for that. And I think we've come at the other end of it and had it. We've had PR about ourselves for certain things. And it's smashing that tall poppy thing, man. That's the worst thing in this country.
Realising you have to get out there and talk about yourself.
No, but that's the worst thing in this country, man. I'm sick of that. And like the bro, Rebet talks about, smashing the whole tall popper thing. It's true, man. You go to any other country in the world, and they don't have this problem of tall poppy. It also affects our kids and how they grow up and all those mental health things. It's just like, get rid of that.
Go in, bro.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
How are we getting rid of it, or what's wrong with it?
Well, I just think it's just this, uplift people if they're doing something great. Okay, you might get a little bit sick of them, and
put yourself in their shoes as well.
Yeah, you don't do anything great if you just gotta uplift those people. You're never gonna hear about them if it's not being PR'd or talked about.
Celebrate together.
Celebrate, man. That's all we should be doing.
Yeah.
Hard.
Well, just going back to one last thing, and then we'll probably call it. I think there's something interesting with that starting that journey. Like if I think about a process orientated person that's quite introspective and feels a little uncomfortable putting their ideas out. I'm just going out on a limb here.
Yeah.
That the initial outreach of starting that business, you may have had to overcome something, and there's a lot of people at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what did you do? How did you overcome that, or what was your outreach strategy?
I wasn't.
Pencils, or what is it?
Just getting out there again. Like I think.
Networking.
Well, it was many years ago, so I wasn't even on social media. So I was almost anti-social media. Still don't really like it personally, but just getting out there on social media, being at events, being in front of people, talking about your brand as much as possible. Act as if. There's the line as
Yeah.
well, you know, act as if you're a bigger agency if it's just you. Did that for a while.
My team.
And brought Raymond along. Obviously, he's the great talker, so that helped.
Yeah, so maybe even find a partner, maybe find a wingman, maybe find a wing woman or they, whatever.
Yeah.
Bring someone with you to those events to give you a little bit of kaha, you know, to kind of get you set on that motion. They might be like, hey, you know, they do this product, they're awesome, you guys should talk.
True.
So there is maybe a potential kind of system that you can employ to be able to go and do all those networking events. Networking events are where all the money is. LinkedIn is where all the money is. Don't go to the first thing of your business. I reckon go to LinkedIn first, and then obviously for your operational side of your business, go to maybe Facebook, because that's where people are, right?
Depends what business.
Yeah, it does depend what business, yes. But if you look at, you know, yeah, it depends on the business thing. But like for our business, all LinkedIn.
And Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, but those are more to share our stuff. Whereas LinkedIn is I'm having conversations with the CEO of this company, with the managing director of that company, for a person who works there, and it's just like all personal. It's like messaging each other, you know. So be bold. There's no rules. Break every rule. No rules.
Yeah.
Obviously legal ones and law and stuff. Don't break those ones. But in terms of business, man, any advantage you think you can have, especially, I mean, you know, look at your morals as well. But like, you know, there's no rules of me going to talk to Jason Paris from One New Zealand. You know, like you can do those things. These are people that live here in New Zealand. We see what's the CEO from in New Zealand? We see him on K Road walking every now and then, and we just like, hey bro, but you know what I mean, like just I think people just kind of go, we're all people, let's try and connect, be bold, break all those rules that you think are in place in business, and just go forth and uplift each other. It's probably my last kind of
Boom. Done.
Oh,
Thank you for coming
love
on.
it, bro.
Oh,
It's been awesome, bro. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah, bro.
having us.
You're doing well. I love the podcast, bro. It's very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.